It is July 6th and I am at Champion Lakes Provincial Park. And I'm exploring the beach right now. I'm coming up to the beach. This day use has a lot of picnic tables. Awesome. This first lake is called Third Lake. It's the one that you can swim in that has the beach. Also a separate dog beach, so that's brilliant. They have a nice playground here and it's open. Now I'm on the second leg trail. That third leg was pretty short. Anyway, I'm ashamed to say that this is the first time that I've ever been to this park, and I only live 90 minutes away from it. So it's about time I came. That third leg is where my mama got baptized when she was a teenager, so I just had to come and see what this was all about. And I have a really nice camping spot, and it costs $25 to stay here a night. So not bad, really nice. There's over 6 kilometers of trails in this park, and there's a sign warning that there's a mama moose with a baby. So that would be fun to see that. Right now in the United States, there's lots of pillaging and rioting going on. A little bit in Canada, protesting, but not any riotings to my knowledge. But did you know that everyone is capable of doing evil? Even you and me? This is the first time I've ever walked over a beaver dam. And there's a $345 fine if you destroy a beaver dam. It's interesting how they come up with their prices for fines. $345, not $350. Jeremiah says the heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked. Who can know it? King Solomon says, truly the hearts of the sons of men are full of evil. Madness is in their hearts while they live. And Jesus himself said, out of the hearts proceed evil thoughts, adulteries, murders, fornications, thefts, false witnesses, blasphemies, an evil eye, pride, foolishness. These things have been happening since the beginning of time when Adam sinned. So what's going on in our time right now isn't unusual or new. King David says, behold, I was brought forth in iniquity, and in sin my mother conceived me. White men lynch black men and burn their homes. Black men riot and pillage white businesses. Catholics torture and kill Protestants, and Protestants torture and kill Catholics. people of the same race murder each other, like the Hutus and the Tutsis. And the Aboriginals were always warring with each other's tribes. And then, of course, warring with the white men when the white men came along. The white men were instigators, of course. And people of the same race, the same nationality, even have different castes within their nationality. So it's all not fair and level playing field. And in Jesus' time, it was the Jews versus the Samaritans. They were always bickering with each other and they hated each other. Which leads me to another question. Should one be militant for a good cause? When Jesus and his disciples were in the Garden of Gethsemane and Judas led the mob to Jesus to arrest him, Peter drew out his sword and he cut off the high priest's servant's ear. And Jesus said, "Peter, put away your sword. I must drink this cup that my Father has given me." Another earlier time when Jesus and his disciples entered a Samaritan village, and the people of the village rejected them. They did not want them there. And so James and John got really angry and they said, "Lord, should we come call down fire from heaven and consume them, just like Elijah did?" This is the same John that wrote the Gospel of John and 1st, 2nd, and 3rd John and the book of Revelation. And yet he wanted to destroy a village. He was militant. But Jesus turned to them and rebuked them and said, "You do not know what manner of spirit you have, for the Son of Man did not come to destroy lives, but to save lives." Saul, who later became Paul, was a zealot, and he had Christians murdered and persecuted. That's what he lived for. Now I'm going on the First Lake Trail. And if you can believe it, canoeist portage through here. Oy. This is pretty in through here. Lots of ferns and a stream running. Very special. Some big old cedars in this forest as well. The Jews stoned Stephen to death, who was also a Jew. But the most significant persecution and death by a Jew, by the Jews to a Jew, was of course Jesus' death. These were his own people that killed him. Jesus, knowing their thoughts, said, "Why do you think evil in your hearts?" Jesus is the only one who knows the secrets of our hearts, but he called it. He knew that evil dwells in there. There always has been and there always will be contention and strife in this world. The first glimpse of the first lake, which is really the third lake that we're seeing, but it's called Lake 1. So there really is only two options in life, with only one choice. You can either live out the sinful life that you were born with, or you can give your heart to God and he can recreate a new heart within you. and make it pure and clean. Well, that's good to know. God promises that He can give us a new heart and put a new spirit within us. And He can take away that stony heart that we have and give us a heart of flesh. The way He can take away our heart of stone is by refilling it with His law. He will write His law on our hearts and on our minds, and He will be our God and we will be His people. He will then forgive us our sins and He will remember them no more. When God writes His law on our hearts, it is a law of love that He is writing on each heart. Jesus says, "You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your mind." This is the first and great commandment. And it's true, the first 4 commandments in the Decalogue have to do with loving God. Then He goes on to say, and the second is like it, you shall love your neighbor as yourself. And it's true, the last 6 commandments are dealing with loving our neighbors and each other. Then Jesus says, on these 2 commandments hang all the law and the prophets. Jesus nicely summarizes what the whole 10 commandments are about. Love to God, and then love to your fellow man. Can't get more basic than that. This looks like a tree's nose. Well, where there's water, there's, you guessed it, mosquitoes. So I would have to give this Champion Lakes Trail a 4.8 out of 5, just for the simple fact of the mosquitoes. I never put on spray, but I succumbed this time. So glad I brought it just in case, and you might want to bring it just in case. But if it wasn't for the mosquitoes, it would have been a delightful trail. Totally recommend it. And it was pretty muggy as well. So at least there's a lake at the end of my journey, my reward. I kid you not, these lakes are big lakes. They're not pansies. I know I've hiked at least 6 kilometers today. So it was a good workout this afternoon. Now all I can think about is jumping in the lake. I am so anxious to go swimming. It's been warm today. So who else wants to join me in giving their hearts to God and letting Him recreate them and taking away the heart of stone and putting in a heart of love? Will you join me? Until my next epic adventure, assalamu alaikum, shalom, peace.